Well, it's head-to-head time once again, and we look ahead to Sunday's early Premier League kick-off as Everton take on Wolves. I've got Tom Hill to my right-hand side, who's going to try and make the case for Everton today. Dan McCarthy will be looking at the Wolves side of things. In terms of the betting for this match, Everton can be backed at 5-4 to win outright. The draw available at 44-19, and Wolves at 27-10. We'll start off with the home team as always. Tom, what case can you make for Everton in this one against a Wolves side yet to pick up a win in the league this season?
Yeah, slow start, Bobbie, for Wolves, and I think a lot of people expected that with the Europa League input to their schedule. I think Everton have probably started a little bit slower than they would have liked, but it's only one defeat. In terms of the Premier League record, it's one defeat in 7 for the Toffees, and that only came last time out against Aston Villa. At home, it's brilliant as well for Everton. They've won their last 5 at Goodison Park, and they're unbeaten in 6 as well. They got a draw against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby. So at 5-4, I think Everton are a really good bet. Wolves are looking a little bit shaky, and the home form for Everton is there to be seen.
We mentioned Wolves looking a little bit tired at the moment, obviously involved in Europa League action again on Thursday night. Have they got enough about them? It's not a big squad Nuno's got there.
It's not a big squad that he's got, but I would look at their run in the Europa League at the moment as a potential positive. They'll have played 5 more games than Everton going into this game on Sunday, and they are in the swing of things now. Against Torino, they're starting to have their first real tests of the season with the likes of Raul Jimenez, Diogo Jota, already linking up really well up front. Last season, they remained unbeaten against Everton. It was a very impressive 3-1 victory they got at Goodison Park, and Everton had a really tough game in midweek against Lincoln in the Carabao Cup. The physicality of that game could have had some effect on what is quite a lightweight squad that Marco Silva has got. Wolves have got the extra physicality on Everton, so they can cause problems, especially with Everton only having scored 1 goal this season. It's not been a great start for Marco Silva's side.
Well, both sides making their opening arguments there for a winner in this one. I am going to go towards Everton, the home side. The fact that they're at Goodison Park, their own fans behind them, and Wolves having played a day after Everton in midweek compared to Carabao Cup and Europa League. So we go into round 2 then, and this is where we look at potential goal scorers. For Everton, as Dan has already mentioned, they have struggled for goals in the league this season. Only 1 scored so far. That was Bernard. They did get 4, of course, in the Carabao Cup, and they might look to that as now players opening their account. Any of them to get on the score sheet for you?
I think for me, you've got to look at the midweek result as well. You just mentioned getting the 4 goals. It'll give everyone a lift, and especially last Friday's defeat to Aston Villa. I think that's going to give them a massive wake-up call. For me, I've gone with history and stats. I've gone with Richarlison. He scored 2 last year against Wolves. Of course, he had a terrific summer. He was at the Copa America. He won that with Brazil. He's 11-2 to score first this weekend, and I just think he's a man that's he's got to start firing now. I think if he and my other suggestion, Gylfi Sigurdsson, get themselves together. Sigurdsson's 13-2. He's had a slow start, but I was very impressed. I've seen the highlights from the Wednesday game. He put some great balls into the box, and of course he's a set piece specialist. If Lucas Digne doesn't want to take one, Sigurdsson can, and I think they offer great value.
Well, Wolves have got plenty of goal scorers in that attack, haven't they? Raul Jimenez and Diogo Jota, you've mentioned, have made good starts to the season, both in the league and the Europa League. They've also got a few backups as well, the new boys Neto and Catrone, who could maybe chip in. Who'd you pick for this game? Well,
Jimenez, the man you mentioned first, is my pick for this. He got 2 goals against Everton last season in both different fixtures. He's already scored 6 goals this campaign, albeit some of them have come against easier opposition in the Europa League. But it doesn't really matter who you score goals against. You can only beat what's in front of you. He's linking up really well with Diogo Jota up front. He got that last-minute penalty against Burnley last time out, which will have done his confidence the world of good. Another potential outsider goal scorer I'm going for is Willy Boly, anytime at 12-1. Wolves will outnumber Everton at set pieces. They've got more height in the side. They play with this 3-man defence compared to Everton's 2. And like Everton, they've got set-piece specialists in João Moutinho and Ruben Neves. So if they can get corner kicks and free kicks whipped into the box, Willy Boly is a good bet to score from headers.
Yeah, I think I will go with Dan this time. That case he makes of Raul Jimenez, he's been a consistent goal scorer over the last couple of seasons in the Premier League, and I think he's one that you can't really look beyond. So we go into round 3 then, and this is where we look at total goals in this clash. We saw last season Wolves coming out on top at Goodison Park at a 3-1 victory. Lots of goals on that occasion. Early stage of the season as well, sometimes you can get really open matches. Do you think we're set for another one?
I'll be honest, I don't, Bobbie. I think it's going to go the other way, this. I probably agree with Dan's point of view. Everton have started a little bit slow at times, so I think it'll be a cagey opening. I think they'll be quite nervous. They drew with Crystal Palace in the opening weekend. That was a 0-0 game, so they're pretty confident themselves to keep a clean sheet. With Wolves travelling around, Europe and getting back, tiredness could be an issue. So they might want to look to start quite slowly and work their way into the game. So I've gone for me for this one under 2.5 goals. It's around 7 to 10, and I just feel that it's going to be 1 or 2 goals maximum in this game, and potentially just a very small margin.
Dan, how are you feeling?
I'm going over 2.5 goals at 33 for 25. I think Everton are under a bit of pressure from the home faithful at the moment. It's not been a great start to the season for them, so they'll try and play on the front foot, which will really suit Wolves. We know how deadly they are on the counter-attack. They've got plenty of pace throughout the side. That's how they beat most of the bigger teams in the division last season, so they can be really dangerous from that. There might be a bit of fatigue from both teams that are creeping in. Everton having played Lincoln, of course, Wolves playing this game against Torino, so that can, of course, lead to momentary lapses within both sides. Everton really are under pressure as well. They were very poor against Aston Villa last Friday, although they do have goal scorers in their ranks now, Gylfi Sigurdsson and Richarlison getting their first goals of the season, which will, of course, lead to some confidence. So I think we could be in for quite a few goals in this game.
Yeah, again, I think I have to agree with Dan this time around. I'm thinking we might have goals in this game, down to the fact you mentioned there could be tied legs out there. We could be set to rotate as well, and that can often mean that teams aren't quite clicking defensively, and goals might well be the order of the day. Well, let's get a correct score prediction then, Tom. What are you thinking?
I have to stick with my guns, don't I? Under 2.5, I've said, so I'm going to go for Everton 1, Wolves 0.
Dan?
I'm going to go Everton 2, Wolves 3.
Well, that's it from us here in the studio. Thanks for joining us once again on this head-to-head. Do make sure you follow us on all of the socials, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and hit that subscribe button on YouTube.